Our world is growing. By 2050, nearly 9.7 billion people will share this planet. As incomes rise, demand for protein, especially seafood, surges. But wild oceans have limits. Experts call it the blue gap, the difference between the seafood we will need and what we can sustainably take from the wild. Closing that gap by 2050 will require roughly 36 million additional tons of seafood. Meanwhile, land and freshwater are under strain. We cannot simply create more fields or rivers, so we must think differently. The ocean still holds an answer if we move from hunting it to carefully farming it. This is the pivot to modern aquaculture. A challenge, yes, but an immense opportunity. Farmed wisely and sustainably, the sea can help feed humanity and protect the wild for generations. Let's see how. For millennia we farmed the land, but per person, arable acreage has been shrinking for decades. Topsoil is eroding under wind and water, and vital nutrients are being depleted, silently reducing crop productivity. Freshwater is under strain. Agriculture uses around 72% of global withdrawals. Regions from the American West to North Africa and South Asia already face severe water stress. Expanding traditional livestock is constrained. Animals require vast land, feed, and enormous quantities of water. At sea, limits have surfaced too. We reached peak fish. Since the late 1980s, wild catch has stayed flat. About 90 to 95 million tons a year. Bigger boats, smarter nets, farther and deeper hunts, yet no more fish from the wild. The Food and Agriculture Organization's 2024 report found only about 62.3% of marine stocks are within biologically sustainable levels. Overfishing remains a risk. We cannot expect the wild ocean to give us more. The takeaway is clear. On land and at sea, the old model has hit its limits. We must pivot, carefully and responsibly, toward modern aquaculture to feed the future while protecting the wild. Just as we move from hunting on land to farming it, we are pivoting at sea, from chasing wild stocks to carefully farming the water. Aquaculture is the farming of fish, shellfish, and seaweed in controlled environments. Managed farming brings predictability, letting us plan harvests, stabilize supply, and reduce pressure on the wild. In recent years, aquaculture has grown fast and is undergoing a quiet, monumental transformation. Many concerns come from older images, crowded pens, heavy antibiotics, and pollution along pristine coasts. Those issues were real in poorly managed operations, and they gave the industry a bad reputation. Today, better science and vaccines have slashed antibiotic use in leading sectors. Stricter biosecurity, clean water, health checks, and controlled movements keep stocks healthier. New systems capture waste and reduce pollution, turning impacts down and performance up. The result is a more reliable food system, less tied to wild swings, and better aligned with ocean health. Aquaculture today is not the aquaculture of 30 years ago. This is a new, modern food frontier. They highlighted real issues that the industry had to confront. But it is important to understand that aquaculture is not a single, unchanging entity. It is an industry that is evolving, learning, and innovating at a remarkable pace. The reality of modern aquaculture is often very different from the myths. The industry has made enormous strides in addressing its past shortcomings. Better science, stronger regulations, and new technologies are transforming how fish are farmed. For instance, the use of antibiotics in some of the world's most advanced aquaculture sectors has fallen dramatically. In Scottish salmon farming, antibiotic use plummeted to a record low in 2024, thanks to the widespread use of effective vaccines and much stricter biosecurity measures. New farming systems are being designed to capture waste and prevent pollution. The aquaculture of today is not the aquaculture of 30 years ago. One of the most exciting developments in modern aquaculture is the rise of recirculating aquaculture systems, or RAS. You can think of these systems as sophisticated factories for fish, but built on land. Instead of being raised in open nets in the ocean, fish live in large indoor tanks. The water in these tanks is constantly monitored, filtered, cleaned, and then reused. This creates a highly controlled environment. It protects the fish from diseases, parasites like sea lice, harmful algal blooms that can devastate coastal farms. It also completely prevents fish from escaping and mixing with wild populations, a major environmental concern with traditional net pens. These advanced land-based systems offer tremendous benefits. While they require a significant upfront investment to build, their long-term advantages are compelling. They use dramatically less water than traditional farming methods. Because the environment is so clean and controlled, the need for antibiotics and other medicines is drastically reduced. A few years ago, the high energy consumption of RAS was a major drawback. But thanks to innovation, that is changing. The newest systems are far more efficient, with some now able to produce a kilogram of fish using about 1.1 kilowatt-hours of energy. As technology improves, their operating costs are becoming competitive with older methods. Another brilliant innovation takes its inspiration directly from nature. It is called integrated multi-trophic aquaculture, or IMTA. Instead of just growing one species, like fish, an IMTA farm cultivates several different types of organisms together. The core idea is to turn waste into a resource. Nutrient-rich waste from the fish becomes food for other species on the farm. Seaweeds absorb dissolved nutrients. Shellfish like mussels or oysters filter out the solid particles. This nature-based design creates a virtuous cycle. It dramatically reduces the farm's environmental footprint. Scientific studies show IMTA systems can recover a large portion of carbon and nitrogen from fish waste. But it also makes good business sense. The farmer gets more than one product to sell. In addition to the fish, they can harvest and sell valuable seaweed and shellfish. That diversification creates new revenue streams and makes the whole operation more resilient and profitable. As technology grows more robust, farms are moving farther away from the sheltered coastlines into the powerful open ocean. These new offshore farms are marvels of modern engineering, designed to withstand giant waves, strong currents, and harsh weather. A pioneering example is Ocean Farm 1, a revolutionary project by Norwegian company SalMar. The massive semi-submersible structure floats like a fortress for fish. It's equipped with arrays of sensors monitoring fish and environment in real time. This is the future of farming at sea. Moving offshore opens up vast new areas for food production. It reduces conflicts over space in crowded coastal zones. Fishing, tourism, conservation, deeper waters and stronger currents provide a healthier environment for fish. Constant flow of clean water disperses waste and reduces disease risk. Offshore farming is a giant leap forward despite technological challenges. It lets us scale seafood production while minimizing impact on coastal ecosystems. A bold step into the blue frontier. The biggest challenge: what the fish eat. Many farmed carnivores like salmon used to be fed fish meal and fish oil. Those ingredients came from small, wild-caught fish. Anchovies, sardines that created the fish in, fish out, the FIFO ratio. Farms were using wild fish to produce farmed fish. That pressured wild stocks and limited sustainability. The race began to break this dependence. Today, a feed revolution is underway. One promising alternative: algal oil. Microalgae grown in tanks produce essential omega-3 fatty acids. Algal oil can replace fish oil from wild forage fish. The algal oil market is expanding fast and may supply much of the industry's needs by 2030. Another frontier: insect protein. Black soldier fly larvae raised on organic waste streams, turning waste into high-quality protein for fish feed. Fish farms can become net producers of protein, adding to the world's food supply, you know. To see the future of aquaculture, we can look to the nations and companies that are leading the way. Nations companies. Norway stands out as a global leader in high-tech salmon farming. Mowi SalMar. They use advanced breeding programs to raise healthier, more resilient fish. They have pioneered new feed formulations that reduce reliance on wild fish. Crucially, the Norwegian government has implemented a smart and adaptive regulatory system. It is called the traffic light system. It divides the coastline into zones. The government grants or restricts permission for farms based on the real-world environmental impact on local sea lice levels. This directly links business growth to environmental performance. The journey to sustainability is not always a straight line. In Thailand, the shrimp farming industry faced a devastating crisis from disease outbreaks in the past. These problems were a wake-up call. In response, major producers like CP Foods completely reinvented their approach. Strict biosecurity protocols improved water management, modern farming techniques to create healthier environments for the shrimp. As a result, yields improved dramatically. The industry became more resilient and sustainable. Their model of recovery and innovation now serves as a valuable guide for shrimp-producing countries around the world. The impact of aquaculture extends far beyond large corporations. In Vietnam, Pangasius farming, shrimp farming. This has created millions of jobs, especially in rural areas. It has driven a massive increase in export revenues, lifting entire communities out of poverty. In Bangladesh, small-scale fish farming in ponds, rice paddies. The country achieved near self-sufficiency in fish production in 2022-2023. Providing an affordable and vital source of protein for millions of families. Even in the United States, where marine aquaculture has been slow to develop, pockets of innovation are emerging. In Hawaii, Blue Ocean Mariculture operates an offshore farm raising Kona kampachi in the deep, clear waters off the coast. The company focuses on sustainable practices and produces a high-quality fish for the restaurant market. On the mainland, companies like Australis Barramundi farming indoor RAS facilities. The growth of aquaculture is more than just a story about food. It is a powerful economic engine. The industry creates a wide array of jobs that extend far beyond the farm itself. It builds entire value chains that provide stable employment in coastal and rural communities. Skilled technicians at hatcheries who nurture the young fish, scientists and nutritionists at feed mills, developing new diets. Workers at processing plants preparing fish for market drivers, and logistics experts who transport the final product around the world. Unlike seasonal fishing, many of these jobs are year-round, offering reliable incomes helping to strengthen local economies. The global market for seafood is immense, and the demand for sustainably produced products is growing stronger every year. Consumers are becoming more aware of the environmental and social issues connected to their food. They want to know where their fish comes from and how it was produced. Importantly, many are willing to support farmers who do the right thing. Numerous surveys have shown that consumers are prepared to pay more for seafood that is certified as sustainable. This price difference, sometimes called a green premium, averages around 9.7%. This sends a powerful signal to the market. It tells producers that investing in better practices is not just good for the planet, it is also good for business. This consumer demand is being met by retailers and food service companies who are making commitments to sustainable sourcing. Major supermarkets and restaurant chains are increasingly stocking their shelves and menus with seafood that carries a trusted certification label. Aquaculture Stewardship Council, Best Aquaculture Practices, close up, a consumer's hand picking up a package of certified sustainable salmon with the certification logo clearly visible. These labels provide assurance to the customer that the farm has met high standards for environmental responsibility and social welfare. As more retailers demand certified products, more farmers are incentivized to adopt sustainable practices to gain access to these valuable markets. The total addressable market for sustainable seafood is vast and expanding. As the global middle class grows, so too will the appetite for high-quality, healthy protein. Aquaculture is perfectly positioned to meet this demand. For investors, this represents a significant opportunity. The companies that are developing the next generation of farming technologies, innovative feeds, and advanced breeding programs are poised for substantial growth. Investing in sustainable aquaculture is not just an environmental choice, it is a sound economic one. It is an investment in a future where we can feed our population while creating economic prosperity and protecting our planet's precious resources. Technology can move at lightning speed, and markets can shift in a season. But policy often moves at a much slower pace. That gap between innovation and regulation is a huge hurdle for sustainable aquaculture, especially offshore. In many countries, including the United States, there is no clear legal framework for permitting a new farm in federal waters. That uncertainty makes investors wary of committing large sums to build modern offshore farms. Without clear rules, the risk is simply too high. This is why forward-thinking policy is essential. It acts as the rudder, steering the entire industry. Governments need a clear, efficient, science-based permitting process for aquaculture. The proposed Aqua Act in the U.S. aims to do that. It would establish a lead federal agency and a clear set of permit requirements for federal waters. That regulatory certainty would help the industry grow. Equally important are secure property rights. Farmers need long-term leases or tenure for their ocean sites, so they can make long-term investments. We can learn from countries with effective policies. It doesn't just grant a permit and walk away. It continuously monitors environmental health and adjusts rules for growth. If indicators are good, green light, farms can expand. If they are poor, red light, production may need to be reduced. That creates an incentive to solve environmental challenges like sea lice. It aligns farmers' financial interests with ocean health. Effective policy also includes public investment in R&D. Government-backed science can help by developing even more sustainable feeds, improving fish health, designing next-generation farming systems. Policies should support local job creation and ensure economic benefits reach coastal communities. Smart, adaptive, supportive regulations can unlock sustainable aquaculture's potential. They help steer the industry toward a prosperous future in harmony with the marine environment. The challenge of feeding nearly 10 billion people is immense, but it is not insurmountable. The ocean, farmed wisely and sustainably, can and must play a central role in nourishing humanity. We have seen that the technology exists. We know that the market is ready. The path forward is clear, but it requires decisive action from all of us. The blue gap between our future needs and our current supply is large, but with focus and collaboration, we can close it. To turn this vision into a reality, 3 groups in particular must act. First, a call to investors. The transition to a sustainable blue economy represents one of the great investment opportunities of our time. Put your capital to work in the companies that are building the future of food. Focus on the pioneers of high-tech aquaculture, especially those developing recirculating aquaculture systems and innovative offshore designs. Seek out and support the innovators who are revolutionizing fish feed, from algal oil producers to insect protein companies. Your investment can accelerate this vital transformation. Second, a call to policymakers. You hold the power to create the conditions for success. Establish clear, predictable, and science-based rules for aquaculture, especially for offshore farming. Streamline the permitting process and provide the long-term secure leases that give farmers the confidence to invest. Adopt data-driven management frameworks, like Norway's traffic light system, that reward good environmental performance. Support public research that pushes the boundaries of what is possible. Your leadership can unleash a wave of innovation, create thousands of jobs, and ensure your nation's food security for decades to come. Finally, a call to retailers and consumers. Your choices in the marketplace have enormous power. When you go to the store or a restaurant, choose seafood that is certified by a trusted program like the ASC or BAP. Ask your fishmonger where the fish comes from. When you can, be willing to pay the small green premium for products that are raised responsibly. This sends a direct financial reward to the farmers who are investing in better practices. Your demand for sustainable seafood creates the momentum that pulls the entire industry forward. The story of our planet has been written in ages of stone, bronze, and iron. We are now at the dawn of a new era. The choices we make in the coming years, in our policies, our investments, and our daily lives, will determine whether this becomes the blue century. It can be an age where we learn to work in partnership with our ocean, where we draw nourishment from a healthy, thriving sea, and where we secure a sustainable future for all of humanity. The task is great, but our capacity for innovation is greater. We must act now.